Well, this is certainly not something you expect to see in the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. Snow, at least not very often. About an inch or so of snow has fallen so far here, and not bad snowball making snow, actually. One thing that this is going to cause is difficulties getting around. The more that falls, the tougher it is going to be on the roads and get through. They don't have a lot of snow removal equipment, as you can imagine, in this part of the country, and not a lot of 4x4 cars as well. So it's going to be a tricky day. There's been warnings, though, for several days, and that seems to have kept a lot of people home and off the roads. Roads aren't nearly as busy as they typically would be for a weekday. But it's mixed precipitation, slick conditions, difficult travel, and it's going to affect a large swath of the country from here in Texas through Arkansas, Tennessee, into the Carolinas. We're going to be covering the impacts of this large winter storm here in Wiley, Texas. I'm Jonathan Petramala for Weather and Radar.
Well, hello, everybody. Good afternoon on the East Coast. Good morning, everybody out there to the west. That was just Jonathan Petramala. He was giving us the lowdown of what's going on from this winter storm that's just getting started here across the southern plains. So welcome, everybody. I'm Weather and Radar meteorologist Becca Parker. We are, let's see here. Let me pull this up for you. We are going over this winter storm that is going to be impacting the southern plains today, getting into the Arklatex over this afternoon and evening, and then moving right into the northeastward direction. And as we heard from Jonathan Petramala, getting into the Carolinas here before the weekend. So this is a quick mover storm. We're going to go over the ins and outs of it. Be sure to have questions. If you do have them, please just drop them in the chat. I'll be checking them throughout this live here. And I'm happy to go over anything that you are asking about for this winter storm here. Welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. If you already have your alerts turned on in the app, perfect. If you don't, or you don't, maybe not even have the app, go ahead and download it. It's completely for free. All of our products are right there. Every product that I'm going to be showing you here today is on our app completely for free. So you can have access to all the information here that I'm sharing with you so that you can track this storm if you are in line for it, or if you know people that are in line for it. So be sure to have that downloaded, have your alerts turned on so you can get the information that we're going to be sending out to you if there's any big impacts coming. Or even alerts to your phone that you can get the snowfall alerts or the ice alerts or wind alerts even to your app and to your local area. Okay. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. You can see right now on the weather radar behind me here, we've got this storm moving across the southern plains. And Dallas-Fort Worth, hello, you're getting your first snow of the season, something you don't often get. We see snow just a little bit about every year, but we got this extensive storm system that's going to be bringing some impacts today. And like Jonathan said earlier, we've had warnings and watches here in this area for a few days now as the storm has been coming together. Very well forecasted here for this area as far as how it's come together. So everyone that's been down there and been paying attention to the watches and warnings, awesome. You're staying home, off the roads, because things get slippery down there because they don't have the resources too much because this doesn't happen all the time. So it makes sense. But if you can stay home, awesome. Stay home, stay safe, get some cocoa, and watch the snow fall outside, watch the rain fall outside, watch the ice fall outside, because everybody's going to be getting a little bit something different as the storm system does continue. So I want to double check for questions before we really get into the nitty gritty of what's going on here. So, okay, awesome. All right. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. This is the weather radar behind me. You see snow, you see ice, you see rainfall, you see cloud cover, you see the sky conditions and temperatures. We got a little bit of everything here going on. And let me zoom in here to the southern plains. You can see the snowfall has already been going this morning and getting a little bit colder as the storm system does move across here into the northeastern corridor of the southern plains. We got Oklahoma City, Amarillo, Wichita Falls, and Dallas already getting some wintry weather with a good mix down here. I want to point out the colors. First of all, this is a good snapshot right here to show the colors of what exactly is going on. We've got snowfall, we've got ice, and we've got heavy rain going on. And the ice depends on the layers of the atmosphere, right? So if you've got freezing temperatures at the surface, you're likely going to be either seeing snow or freezing rain or sleet. The thing about freezing rain is at the surface, if you've got temperatures that are just above freezing, however, the surface, like maybe some elevated surfaces like fences, power lines, vehicles, maybe those temperatures on that surface are below freezing. Any rain that falls can freeze right onto those surfaces. So if you've got temperatures outside that may be just above freezing, the surfaces might be at freezing. I know, there's a lot of different things that come into play with this, but freezing, rain, sleet is happening with the storm. Bottom line, that is happening. So we've got some icy conditions that are going to be happening here throughout this storm, and it are already going on here across the area. Just along I-10 here, you can already see here in Texas, we've got some freezing precipitation going on with a mix of rainfall too. And then again, further north with this storm, you're seeing the snowfall. Look at this pink. Darker the pink, the heavier the snowfall. Darker the blue, the heavier the rain. The darker the orange, the heavier the ice. So, the lighter colors showing you showers, and as you're getting into those really dark colors, you're seeing some heavier precipitation happening no matter the color. So heavier precipitation means, maybe pull over, maybe don't go out just yet. Something you maybe want to avoid if you are planning on being out. Those of you that are headed to lunch very soon, I would maybe just check the weather radar before you head out, so you know that if you need those gloves, those hats, those scarves, heavy coats. Oklahoma City, you've been seeing snow for a good while this morning already, so you already know what you need. You got snow boots on, you've got your heavy coats and all of that. Let's talk about what exactly is happening as this storm comes together. We've got a bubble of cold air coming down from the Arctic, from up here, moving down south, and we've had a low pressure that's been scooting out of the northern parts of Mexico here, joining up. We're getting a snowstorm happening here with the southern parts because we've got warm air advecting out of the Gulf. We've got warmer moving up. That's why you're seeing either a mixed precipitation or rainfall. So that's why you're seeing temperatures down here in southern Texas. You're in the 40s and upper 30s. Chilly, but above freezing, right? So you got rain. It's a cold rain. So, if you like that, great. Not my cup of tea, but, so that's what's happening here. We've got the cold air coming down from the north. We've got a low pressure moving up out of Mexico, and we are joining and creating a winter storm. Now, this is just a little bit of the picture, right? So we've got this thing that's going to be moving pretty quickly as this front does move down from the north and kind of sweep it across the east here. We're going to be seeing impacts stretch from here from the southern plains all the way through the Tennessee Valley, getting into the Carolinas as well. Anybody over there, you're going to be getting your first snow of the season. We'll talk about totals of what we could see and why we're seeing that as well. So let's get into what this looks like over today. So the weather radar here is going to help you a lot to see what exactly the impacts are right now, as well as 4 days into the future. So let's take a look at what's going on today. This is Central Time. I've got 1 p.m. here. This is what we've got as far as the forecast. We could have a changeover to rain here in Dallas. However, we've been seeing snowfall. You saw Jonathan Petramala. We've been seeing snowfall there in some clips around the metro area. So you could be seeing a mix here across Dallas just after lunch. But as this snowstorm does progress, you're going to be seeing the rain snow line just kind of sit right on the Dallas-Fort Worth area before really changing over to snow. It's a temperature game, right? This is the temperature game when it comes to where the rain snow line is, even the freezing rain line. So that's what we're going to be kind of looking out for. And as we get into the afternoon hours for the afternoon commute, something you really want to keep an eye on out for. Even if you're not getting snow, you're getting heavy rain, and that's no fun to drive through, especially if these areas have problems with flash flooding. These areas have been getting a good bit of heavy rainfall here just about every 5 or 7 days. So areas that are in drought possibly in this area are getting some good rainfall. However, what happens with that when we get a good dousing of rain very frequently is flash flooding happens because the soil could have trouble soaking in any more water. And if you've got drought going on, the soil also has trouble soaking in any water quickly. So then you got puddling, flash flooding, or if you just have areas that that don't handle water well, that's going to be happening too. Something you want to keep an eye out for when you're on that heavy rain side, which is going to be really skirting the Gulf Coast here as the storm does move to the northeast. So let's take a look at what we're going to be expecting here. This is 6 p.m. this evening here, Central Time, across the southern plains and getting into the Arklatex here. Those of you who have had your weather warnings on, who have had your alerts on, you've been getting your National Weather Service alerts as well. You're under either a winter weather advisory, a winter storm warning, or winter storm watch. There's a lot going on. I'll show you the map here. It's pretty colorful as we get into what's really going to be going on for this winter storm. Let me double check any questions before I move on here. Awesome. Again, thank you all so much for joining me. We do these lives when we have these big impactful events going on, so you can get up to the minute forecasts from us, from your meteorologist here at Weather and Radar. And then you can learn about the products that we've got too that can help you along the way right at your fingertips completely for free so that you're prepared, right? All right, let's take a look at what this looks like over the next several hours. As we get into this evening, this snowstorm / rainstorm for you along the Gulf Coast here, does continue to move into the deep south, mid-Mississippi Valley here. We even got snowfall reaching all the way up to Chicago here as part of that front that's sweeping across towards the east. So rainfall is going to be moving here across the southern portions, snowfall right up here into the northern flank of the storm. Memphis, Little Rock, Fort Smith, you all are under winter storm warnings already. What we're going to be seeing here as far as totals, let me scoot back here a little bit. This area right here is where we're going to be seeing like a good amount of snow. So those of you who love snow, awesome. You're going to be getting snow. Thing is, with this storm, we can see, because especially along this rain snow line, wondering where things are really going to set up. Totals can be anywhere between 2 and 8 inches when it comes to the snowfall, with a little bit of sleet, possibly, with that mixed in as well. So those of you that are under your winter storm warnings and getting into the nitty gritty for your localized forecast, please take a look at what that looks like, so that you can see what totals you're going to be getting to prepare for that. Anywhere between 2 and 8 inches is what we're looking at right here across the area. As this continues to move east, we are getting into further into the deep south and as well as the Tennessee Valley. This is early tomorrow morning Central Time. And this is when the morning commute starts. Atlanta, let's take a look at you. This is your first wintry weather of the season, other than the cold temperatures that you've been feeling. You're getting a mix of snow and possibly some ice. So this is going to be impacting the morning commute. This is 7 a.m. Eastern time here, Atlanta. So something you want to keep a close eye out for. Maybe telework options are in your future, your very near future, or PTO if you have it. If you have that opportunity to either take some time off or take some time to slow down, this is a great time to be thinking about that because of the impacts we can have down here. Atlanta, very much like Dallas, Fort Worth, we don't see a whole lot of wintry weather happening here constantly. So the resources are limited when it comes to snowplows, people having four-wheel drive vehicles, salt availability, and brine. So, this could be something you want to keep an eye out for because maybe you don't have the resources, and that's okay. Stay home. Best thing to do is stay home if you have that opportunity. Something to think about. This is the same deal here too for Birmingham as well. So, in the South, we don't see too many winter storms happening constantly. So again, resources are limited, and that's okay. Just something you want to keep an eye out for. You can be prepared by looking at the weather radar and having your alerts switched on so you know exactly what's coming into your area. Let's get further east here. This is really getting into the Nashville area tomorrow morning. This is 9 a.m. Central Time and getting up into the Midwest as well. You've got some heavy snowfall happening here. Memphis, Nashville, Evansville, Peoria, and Chicago, Milwaukee, Grand Rapids, Michigan. Everybody up over in this area here is going to be dealing with some kind of morning commute issues when it comes to snow. Take your time. Take it slow. If you have telework availability, awesome. I know I say that often. But, I like to promote, if you can take it slow, take it slow. It's not worth rushing through this, right? A lot of things can happen when we rush. So, and I'm talking to myself as well. So, things when heavy snowfall is happening, take that as an opportunity to slow down. It's a nice sign to say slow down. But we've got ice happening here too. It's not just snow. It's not just about the snow. We've got some ice happening here too across Atlanta area. Some pretty heavy icing that's very possible here. This is in the mid-morning hours. This is 9 a.m. Central, so 10 a.m. Eastern. Really something you want to keep a close eye on if you do have to be out and about tomorrow. If you can take a break or take it slower, feel like you can do that because of the weather. Let's take a look at what this looks like as we move even further into tomorrow. This is 12 p.m. Central Time. Let's move to Eastern Time. There we go. All right, so this is 1 p.m. Eastern Time. We are getting into some heavy snowfall continues here across Tennessee Valley. And look at you, Carolinas. You're starting to see that wintry weather move into the western portions of the state, South Carolina, North Carolina, definitely in the mountains here. So definitely going to be accumulating some good mountain snow here across the Smokies and the southern Appalachians here as well. Atlanta, you're changing over to rainfall eventually as those temperatures really just hover right around that freezing mark. But luckily, things do warm up throughout the day. So something you want to pay attention to there. However, by the evening time, we're back down near freezing. So it's going to be a topsy-turvy day down here in Atlanta into the areas here that are just going to be right on that rain snow line. That's a very tricky line to be on, and we understand if you have to take it slow. Again. All right, let's get into the Carolinas here. This is tomorrow evening. Raleigh, Charlotte, you got some snowfall coming to you. Anywhere between a dusting to 3 inches is what we're expecting here across the North Carolina area. Just because there's going to be some dry air from these cold temperatures moving in. So dusting to 3 inches, not bad for a place that doesn't see snowfall that very often, right? So get your boots ready, get your coats ready. We do have snowfall coming to you tomorrow afternoon into the evening hours. This also is affecting your commute. This is 7 p.m. Eastern time. However, move back a little bit. This is 5 p.m. Raleigh, you're getting into that snowfall as it does move a little bit to the east. Greensboro, you're already well into it at 5 p.m. Eastern time. Charlotte, well into it, right on that frozen line too, right? You see that orange happening here just to the south, into the northern South Carolina area. So we really want to pay close attention to how this is going to be, sitting when it comes to those temperatures. So be sure to keep a close eye on that. I'm going to check for any questions we have. Awesome. All right, as this thing does move east, we're seeing some heavy snowfall happening here all the way up into the Ohio Valley and into the Great Lakes area. This is tomorrow evening. So those of you that are having your commute plans, your dinner plans, it's Friday night, I know you got some snowfall happening. So we want to pay close attention to that so you can get out there safely and know exactly what's going to be happening in this area. Mid-Atlantic, let's move into what's going to be happening here across the area here as we get onto along the I-95 corridor into Washington, Philly. Let's take a look at, move back here. This is tomorrow night as the storm does lift towards the northeast and then move here off to the coast. We got some snowfall happening here into Virginia, getting into Maryland, Delaware, getting slowly into New Jersey, and then Pennsylvania here as well as the storm does shift to the east. We are expecting maybe an inch here around the Maryland area, Northern Virginia area. We know we just had snowfall. Ground is primed for it. Accumulation can happen. It's in the 20s too. So accumulation is going to be happening here if any snowfall does come down. So just be aware of that as the storm does move through on late Friday night to Saturday morning. If you got plans on Saturday, be sure to keep an eye on that. This is 8 a.m. Eastern time, so you're going to be waking up to some snow showers here across the area as well. And some heavier snowfall happening in the mountains of West Virginia along here, and then into Pittsburgh as well. Look at these temperatures, though. Let's take a look at the temperature radar. These temperatures are going to be chilly across the area here this weekend. So we got some 20s happening early morning of Saturday. I know a lot of this area, too, you've been dealing with 20s. I mean, it's been highs in the 20s all week. So, the temperatures do continue to stay chilly across this area. However, getting down to the areas that did just originally see some snow, some freezing rain, temperatures are making it above the freezing marks. This could quickly melt across the area, except for in shadowy spots. Places that are like pretty much constantly overshadowed by trees or buildings, you can keep the snow. But areas that are going to be seeing some sunlight are going to be easily melting. So something you want to keep an eye on. Let's take a look at what those low temperatures are going to look like, though, Saturday night as this cold front has officially moved off to the coast here. We got some below freezing temperatures here. So anything that has recently melted is going to cause some black ice issues if it is not already dried. So something you want to keep a close eye on for that. That goes for everybody here across the Tennessee Valley, into the Mid-Atlantic, into the Carolinas. Really want to pay close attention to that if you are traveling. Black ice can be very, very dangerous if you are driving over that, especially if you're in something that's not like a four-wheel drive vehicle. We already saw across Kansas City over the weekend, we got that ice storm that happened, right? We were sharing videos of what that looked like. I mean, the highway was a skating rink. So, while this ice storm is not going to be as extensive as that one was, however, some spots could see there's a real very good possibility that some spots could see conditions like that in isolated areas. You really want to pay close attention no matter what, right? So keep an eye on the weather radar, keep an eye on those icy patches, know exactly what you're going to be dealing with by using this tool. So I want to get into what the winds look like from this storm system. This is tomorrow afternoon. So not too bad as we get into the wind radar here as this storm system does continue moving to the east here. Let's take a look at Saturday as well. Saturday we pick up. Let's pull down here. Saturday we pick up in the gustiness. Let's see it once this loads nicely. The wind radar is a great tool that you can use to see all the gusty winds in your area. I know we've been using the wind radar a lot, and I can pull over here just while that loads. We've been using the wind radar a lot here in Southern California as they've been dealing with a lot of the wildfires. Unfortunately, it's very, very, the Santa Ana winds have been gusting into the Los Angeles County area and the whole Southern California area. We've seen gusts into the 90, 100 mile per hour range. And we've been using the wind radar to track these as well. Luckily today, that situation, if you are monitoring that situation, that they are seeing some less gusty winds, but dry areas in place. So those people in those areas want to keep a close eye on their conditions, make sure that you are staying safe just in case, the dry air does take over. It is gusty out there. It's just not as gusty as it was. Grateful for that. All right, let's get back into what tomorrow and Saturday look like for the wind radar here across this area. After that front moves through, we got some very windy conditions that are going to be happening here across the area. This is noon, lunchtime, Eastern time here as we get into the Carolinas, into the mid-Atlantic here. You got some gusty winds happening here behind this snowstorm. So you want to keep an eye on that. Keep an eye for blowing snow. I know blowing snow has been a big issue for a lot of people after the snowstorm recently that we had this last weekend across the mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast here as well. So really keep a close eye on that. And again, temperatures are going to be staying pretty, hovering around freezing or just below too. So the snow is going to stick around. Keep an eye on that as you are moving across this area if you do have travel plans for the weekend. All right. I want to show you that map I was talking about earlier really quick. Let me pull that up. And then we're going to get into some tools you can use and we'll wrap up. All right. Let's get over to it. The National Weather Service map is quite painted right now. If you want to know how extensive the storm system is, well, you can see right here. Purples and pinks, we got winter weather advisories and winter storm warnings all the way across this area from the Southern Plains, scooting on into the Tennessee and Ohio Valley. And then the winter storm watches here extending all the way into the Virginia Beach area and Richmond area of Virginia and across the Carolinas as well. This is an extensive storm. So if you have your alerts turned on, awesome. You're getting the latest information. You can also keep it a close eye on our live blog. We have plenty of information that's going out today. You can watch the live here if you need to go recap later. But we've got plenty of information here for the areas that are receiving this impactful storm today. Obviously, we're seeing some slick conditions here out of National Weather Service office in Fort Worth. Slick conditions, people are going off the road. So really something you want to keep a close eye on. So let's get into some tools you can use and we'll wrap up here, okay? Let me pull up this right here. All right. Perfect. All right. Like I said earlier, we have alerts on your phone that you can get. So you can get anything from snow alerts, gusty wind alerts. We have some ice alerts on there as well, even severe weather alerts. Luckily, we're not dealing with severe weather with this kind of system. However, we have more storm systems to deal with as the year goes on, right? So have your alerts switched on to receive the latest updated weather information from us, especially if we are giving localized information too, especially for something like this. We're giving out forecast updates throughout the day. So you want to be having those alerts turned on so you can receive the latest information. Whether you're in the Southern Plains or whether you're in the Carolinas, all the way to the East Coast here, because you're going to be getting a lot of information from this storm, up-to-date information, so that you have the latest forecast for your area. So you can be very prepared as the storm system does continue to evolve. I talked about this earlier, but you can see the freezing rain on the weather radar. Lighter colors are light, heavy precipitation shows in the darker colors. Something you want to keep an eye on. We're going to be seeing some ice with this system. Snow, same thing. Pink. If you see a lot of pink, you got snowfall in your area. Lighter colors do show the lighter snow showers, easier to drive through if you are able to. Heavier snow showers mean lower visibility, harder to drive through. Keep that in mind as you are looking at the weather radar and making those plans. When you're on the weather radar, you can look at these different things here. We got the rain radar, temperature radar, wind radar, and lightning radar. Your big ones that you're going to want to be using for this event are the weather radar, the temperature radar, and the wind radar. So the weather radar gives you your full big picture snapshot of what's going on. Temperature radar is going to show you those temps, right? So if you're running on the line between freezing and not freezing, or if you've got that cold front coming through and bringing those cold temperatures right after this storm system, that's where you want to be. That's what you want to be checking on. Wind radar, we're showing those gusty winds right over across the East Coast here later for the weekend time. Check on that wind radar. If you still have holiday decorations up outside, make sure they are tight and you're not going to be letting them fly loose if the winds gust as well. Lightning, not so much for this storm. However, you really want to keep an eye on this because you can become very good at tracking lightning on our weather radar, because that's going to help a lot when we get to the springtime here across the area. So you see lightning on our weather radar as well as on the lightning radar. It's going to be very helpful. It's live. So lightning to the second, right? Also, if you need to get to the weather radar on our app, you just scroll down a little bit. You tap right there. You can get to the weather radar easily and see the rain, the snow, the temperatures, the good snapshot of what you need for your area. Alrighty, let's get back to the storm just to take a look, see at what it's showing right now before I wrap up here. Let me check for any questions before I log off here. Thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope this has been helpful. This storm is going to continue to evolve throughout the day, so please keep a close eye on the weather radar, especially if you're on that rain snow line. Dallas, you are. Look at here. Southern Dallas, probably rainfall. Southeastern Dallas, rainfall. On the northern portions of the metro area and Fort Worth area, you got snowfall. So if you're heading out for lunch soon, this is something you want to keep an eye on because this is going to be some slick conditions across this area. We saw that a minute ago. Jonathan Petramala is out there, so he's going to be sending us updates as well. Thank you all so much for joining me today. I hope this was helpful. Please tune in for any other further forecasts that we have. We're going to be sending out a lot of updates for this as well. Keep an eye on our live blog too, so you can get up to the hour updates for this situation. Thank you all so much. Have a great day and stay safe.